Good morning, dear students, and welcome back to our class. In today's class, we are going to start with a new unit with the title A Message for the Future. Class book, pages 106 to 108. Workbook, pages 92 to 94. Grammar book, pages 80 to 83. Your homework is to do worksheet number 9 in your booklet. Open your class book, page 106. Take a look at the pictures and try to answer the question. What are the children doing? Now, I'm going to read the story. Follow up in your book. A message for the future. Finn, come on, Ed. Tell us about your idea. Ed, okay, why don't we make a time capsule? We can put things in this box and bury it. When people dig it up in the future, they learn about what life is like now. Libby, what are we going to put in the box? Kate, let's all write a message and put the messages on a memory stick. Ed, we should put a supermarket receipt in the box so people can see how much things cost. Libby, a magazine will show what clothes are worn these days. Ed, what about a photo album? Kate, we can save digital photos on a disk. That will show people what technology we've got. We can put in a computer manual too. Finn, great! Has anyone got any other ideas? Girl, a CD of our favorite songs. Boy, a map of our town. Girl, a DSD club hat. Ed, what about banknotes? They'll show people what kind of money is used in our time. Kate, okay, Ed, you can put your money in the box. Ed, oh, maybe I'll just take a photo and put that in. Finn, I've got some exciting news. I've just called the mayor's office and the mayor said we could bury the time capsule in the park. Libby, and the local newspaper wants to write a story about it. Now, after reading the story, let's discuss it together. First of all, Finn and Ed were talking about Ed's idea, which was to make a time capsule and to bury it. So when people dig it up in the future, they learn about what life is like now. So they are preparing a time capsule. It is like a message for the people in the future so they can learn about our life now. In picture number 2, 3, and 4, and 5, the children start to make suggestions for things to put in the box. Kate suggested to write messages on a computer stick. Libby said that they can put a magazine so people could know what clothes are worn these days. Ed also suggested to put a photo album, so they decided to save digital photos on a disk. Why? To show people what kind of technology we've got. They also decided to put a computer manual in the box. Other girls from the DSD club and boys started to make suggestions like putting a CD of their favorite songs, to put a map of their town, and to put a DSD club hat. Ed suggested also to put a banknote but he did not agree on putting his money in the box. So he decided to make a photo and to put it instead of putting his money in the box. At the end, Finn has got some exciting news. Can you tell me what are these news? Excellent. The mayor's office called them and said that they can bury the time capsule in the park. Good. What about Libby's news? Excellent. The local newspaper wants to write a story about the time capsule. Now, I have 3 questions for you. Try to answer, then take a look at the key answer. What was Ed's idea? What did they decide to put in the box? What were the exciting news that Finn had? Now, the question is for you. If you were with the DSD Club children, what is your message for the future? What things will you put in the box? Think of the answers and send them to me, please. Now, it's your turn to read and act. I want you to read the story and to act it out. Together, let's do exercise number 3 in your class book, page 106. Read again and write true or false. Number 1. Ed has got a metal box. True. Number 2. The children are going to write messages and put them on a desk. False. Excellent. They are going to put the messages on a memory stick. 3. Ed wants to put his money in the time capsule. False. Excellent. He wants to take a photo and to put it in. 4. The children are going to bury the time capsule in the park. And it is true. Excellent. So here is the answers in front of you. The key answer for exercise 3 in your class book, page 106. Now, let's move to page 107 in exercise number 1. Take a look at the picture in front of you. You can see several items in this picture. We have time capsule. We have a receipt. We have a stamp, banknote, diary, memory stick, manual, photo album. So these are the new vocabularies that we are going to concentrate during this unit. Your homework is to find out the definitions of the words in exercise 1 from the dictionary in your workbook. Open the dictionary in your workbook and find out the definitions of the words and write them in your English notebook, please. Now let's move to exercise number 2. Write the words. Number 1. You can write about your life in a diary. 2. A is paper money. A banknote is paper money. 3. You can store information on a memory stick. 4. A tells you how to use a new machine. A manual tells you how to use a new machine. You can keep your favorite photos in a photo album. 6. When you buy something from a shop, you get a receipt. So here is the answers of exercise number 2. In your class book, page 107, Working with Words. Today, we are going to talk about homonyms. Homonyms are words that have the same spelling but different meanings. So, when we have two words with the same spelling but the two words have different meanings, we call them homonyms. Take a look at the examples. Number 1. Turn on the light, please. This bag is very light. In the first sentence, light is a noun, and in the second sentence, light is an adjective. Can you guess what's the meaning of light in the first example? Excellent! It is the source where we get light at the house, an electric source. In the second sentence, can you guess the meaning of light? Excellent! It means that the bag does not weigh a lot. It is not heavy. So, I have two words with two different meanings, but they have the same spelling. Light, light. Take a look at the second example. I saw a huge, colorful float in the carnival. The boat floats easily in the water. In the first sentence, float is a noun, and in the second sentence, floats is a verb. A float in a carnival, it is a very big car. It is decorated and colorful. Number 2, the boat floats. Floats, it is a verb, which means that it does not sink under the water. So I have the two words, float and float. They have the same spelling but different meanings. In your class book, you have different homonyms. We have stamp, noun and verb. We have float, also noun and verb. Spring, noun and noun. Note, noun and noun. Coach, noun and noun. Light, noun and adjective. You can find the definitions of the homonyms in the dictionary in your workbook. Find the definitions and write them in your English notebook. Let's move together to exercise number 3. We are going to match the homonyms. Number 1 with B. It is the word stamp. Number 1, stamp. Letter B, stamp. Number 2, we have a float. So number 2, float with D. The boat is floating. 3, I have a note. 3 with C. I have in the letter C a note. 4, coach with A, coach. So number 2 with D, number 3 with C, number 4 with A. Now let's move together to your workbook, page 92. Read the exercises and try to answer them. Here is the key answer for exercise number 1 and exercise number 2. Now move to your workbook, page 93. Read the exercises and do them. Here is the key answer for exercise number 1, exercise number 2, and exercise 3. Hello dear students and welcome back to our classes. I hope that everything is well and I hope that you are doing well with your lessons. In today's class, inshallah, we are going to start in our grammar book, Unit 11, from page 80 to 83 with the title, The Passive One, Present Simple. So, I am working in your grammar book from page 80 to 83, The Passive One, Present Simple. Now, we are going to differentiate between two kinds of sentences, active sentences and passive sentences. Let's take a look at the first example. They are making a film. Who is making the film? They. Excellent. So the answer is they. So the subject or the doer of the action is they. So in this sentence, we know who are making the films. So this is an active sentence. Why did we call it an active sentence? Because we know the doer of the action and we have the subject, which is they. Let's move to the second example. Lots of films are made in London. I have a question for you. Do you know who make the films in London? Excellent. The answer is no, because in this sentence we did not mention the doer of the action. We did not mention the subject. We have two reasons to not mention the subject in the sentence. First of all, maybe because we don't know the subject, we don't know the doer of the action, or because it is not important to mention the doer of the action, and that's why we call this sentence a passive sentence. So, what's the difference between an active sentence and a passive sentence? An active sentence, it is a sentence where we know the doer of the action. We have the subject. In a passive sentence, we don't know the doer of the action. We don't know who did the verb. So we don't have a subject. Now you have to ask yourself a question, which is, why do we use the passive voice? We use the passive voice if we don't know who or what is doing an action, or if it isn't important who or what is doing it. So, if we don't know who is the doer or the subject for the sentence, or if it is not important to mention the subject, you are going to use the passive voice. So when we are concentrating on the action, we are concentrating on the verb rather than concentrating on the subject or the doer of the action, we are going to use the passive. We are going to discuss together how to make the present simple passive. To form the passive sentence, follow these steps. 1. We are going to delete the subject, which is at the beginning of the sentence. 2. Put the object at the beginning of the sentence. 3. Add am, is, are plus verb 3 or the past participle and the complement. How to decide which to use, am, is, or are? It is according to the object. If the object is I, you are going to use am. If the object is singular, you are going to use is. If the object is plural, you are going to use are. You can add by plus the subject at the end of the passive sentence. To understand more, let's discuss these examples together. Let's discuss these examples. I have the active sentence, Peter Pan invites Wendy to Neverland. I want to change this sentence into the passive voice. So I am going to delete Peter Pan, which is the subject, and then I am going to take Wendy, which is the object, at the beginning of the sentence. I have to add the is because Wendy is singular, and then you have to change invites into the past participle, which is invited. Then you have to complete the rest of the sentence or the complement. So the sentence will be, Wendy is invited to Neverland by Peter Pan. So Wendy is invited to Neverland by Peter Pan. Another example to discuss. which is the secretary answers the phone calls. So we have to follow the same steps that we discussed before. So first of all, we are going to delete the subject, which is the secretary. Then we are going to bring the object to the beginning of the sentence. The object here is phone calls. So then we have to change the verb into the past participle. So answers is going to be answered, and we have the sentence phone calls are answered by the secretary. We added are because phone calls a plural. Another example, Thomas feeds the hens. Let's follow the same steps. First of all, delete the subject, then bring the object to the beginning of the sentence, add am, is, or are, change the verb into the past participle, add by plus the subject. So excellent. The sentence is hens are fed by Thomas. Another example, Jerry kicks Tom. Now I want you to change this example into the passive voice alone. So what you are going to do first, then after that you have to add is, am, or are, then change the verb into verb 3 and the sentence, excellent, you are right, Tom is kicked by Jerry. Now, we have here a key answer for your exercises in a grammar book, page 80. In exercise number 1, we have started with the forms of the verb. We have the base form, past simple, and the past participle. Then, I have the key answer for your exercises in a grammar book, page 81, exercise 2, exercise 3. Key answer, grammar book, page 82, exercise 4 and exercise 5. This is it for today. And dear students, think big, trust yourself, and make it happen. I believe in you. Thank you.